So welcome everybody to the July Summer Smoothies and Salads series. We're so glad you're here. I'm Gail Schorsch. If you don't know me, I'm founder and director of Bronx Eats, and I am so pleased that you have chosen to spend part of the evening with us tonight. A big thank you to Giselle Payne, who organized this series, and we really have been so blessed with her amazing advertising and flyers that you have been able to enjoy seeing also. So it's great that you're here. Food is a great reason to get together, and Bronx Eats is here to offer you healthy, traditional plant-based foods that you know and love, and also introduce you to some dishes that you may not have thought to try. So tonight, we are going to be enjoying a summer smoothie, which I'm very excited to learn about, and a Mexican street corn salad with Imani Parsons. She's a busy lady. We're really glad that she's able to give some of her time to us tonight. I just want to remind you that Bronx Eats is a safe place to meet, learn, and connect with each other. It's become just like this wonderful, very local Bronx-based organization to create a community gathering place where we can start to find our footing again in the new world while still living with the harsh reality of COVID. And tonight we are just really thrilled to have another class and to be able to come together. So I do think that it's worth remembering that when we get together like this, we send a message to ourselves and others that our health matters to us and that we value our time together in community, that we value our local cooks and chefs, and that we're going to take care of ourselves and on a personal and a community level. So thank you for showing up for yourselves and showing up for this community. We hope you'll continue to come and join us for these no-charge cooking classes. We are recording this presentation, but you're totally free, especially since we have a small group tonight, to ask questions. It really makes it more personal and connected if you can turn your video on. Your presence is super important to us. It makes it feel more like a community and a family when we can see your face. And this is a class, but it's also a chance to share with and learn from each other face to face. So please turn your videos on if possible. And without further ado, let me introduce Imani. Imani Parsons has always been interested in nutrition, health, and wellness. She studied health science at Lincoln University and received a master's in human nutrition from Columbia University Institute of Human Nutrition. Community nutrition and education, along with cooking and baking, are some of Imani's passions. She currently works as a high school health and wellness teacher. Imani also founded and manages her own nutrition and baking business called Vegan Mani LLC. She's been vegan for 3.5 years, and she aims to encourage, empower, and educate people on the importance of healthy eating and living a healthy lifestyle. If you'd like to learn more about Imani and her services, please follow her on Instagram at Vegan Mani LLC and check out her website, www.veganmani.com. And with no further ado, take it away, Imani. I would like to just say one more thing, which is that please, you can pin Imani's food space. She has the ingredients there. She has 2 cameras going, one of her face and one of her food. So if you'd like to see the food more closely, click on the 3 dots at the top of that box and pin that box. And without further ado, Imani, we're so grateful and happy that you're here tonight, and take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that introduction, and thank you for having me. It's always such a pleasure to teach for Bronx Eats, and I'm super excited for today's class. We're going to be whipping up some really quick, really simple summer recipes. But before we get into that, I would love to do a little bit of an icebreaker. So you can just say your name, where you're zooming in from, and I also want to know your favorite summer recipe. If you would like to unmute, feel free to do so, or you can also put it in the chat, but I want to hear from a couple of people.
I'm gonna have to
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. So my name is Alvelin and I'm from Washington Heights. I would say my favorite summer food has to be burgers.
Burgers, okay.
Right.
Burgers are good.
Yes, that's great. Great source of protein right there. Wonderful. Anyone else? Don't be shy. I want to hear some really good summer recipes.
Hi, my name is Diana.
Go ahead.
Hi, Diana.
Sorry, Stella. And my favorite summer recipes is any kind of salads. I love salads. So I can eat salads all summer.
Nice. I love salads as well. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Stella. I'm in Concourse Village, and I really like salads. I mean, I can fill up on green salads, stuff like that for the summer. So I would say I really like the salad.
Nice. Awesome. Wonderful. Does anyone else want to share before we move on? I want to make sure everyone has a chance to speak if you would like to. All right. So I just want to talk a little bit about the two items that we're going to be making today. We're going to be making a smoothie, and we're also going to be making a salad. And I'm happy to hear that we have a couple of salad lovers in the room. So let's talk about smoothies. Smoothies are loaded with fruits and vegetables, and fruits and vegetables contain a lot of fiber. So smoothies are a great way to get your fiber in so you feel full, and also get your fruits and vegetables in. And they also have a lot of really good nutrition, and there are literally thousands of smoothie recipes that you can come up with. Now let's go to your favorite smoothie combo. Does anyone have a favorite smoothie combo that they would like to share with the class?
So this is Stella again. I like making smoothies. I drink them a lot. And I usually like to combine bananas and strawberries, blueberries, and a lot of times just so I can get some liquid in there, I might take a can of juice from the peaches, you know, the canned peaches, and throw some of that in there. And then I add a fresh lemon.
Very nice.
And the other thing, I put honey in to give it some sweetness.
Nice. That is wonderful. I see Diana put something in the chat, and Gail shared her recipe as well. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all your favorite smoothie combos. So let's move on to talk a little bit about salads. Salads are loaded with fruits and vegetables as well. I know some people are not fans of putting fruits in their salads, but fruits can actually be a really great addition to a leafy green salad. It's also another great source of fiber because those fruits and vegetables are going to keep you full. It helps to manage your weight and your appetite. And it also helps to improve digestion. And it's loaded with antioxidants. Antioxidants, what they do is they protect cells from free radicals, because free radicals can cause diseases. So you want to make sure that we have a lot of antioxidants in our diet. So the first recipe that we are going to start with, without further ado, is the Mexican street corn salad. Has anyone ever had Mexican street corn before? If you had, I want you to unmute and I want you to describe it to me. Anyone? No one has had Mexican street corn salad? Wow, okay. That is completely fine. All right, so this is a really great dish because it has a lot of different flavors in it. It's very flavorful. We all know that corn has a lot of fiber. People like to say that corn is not really a good vegetable, but it is high in fiber, and it's also high in minerals and vitamins, which are all really good for us. So this dish is going to be really, really interesting. And I also want to highlight another ingredient that we're going to be using. We're going to be using cilantro. And cilantro is great because it helps to boost immunity. And it also helps in regulating blood sugar levels, and it helps with digestion and gut health. So literally everything that we're putting into this recipe is super good for us. Another thing that I would like to highlight is the bell peppers. Bell peppers are wonderful as well. They help with immunity, and they're also high in vitamin C. So without further ado, let's get cooking. I have my cooked 1 pack of frozen corn here. I also have my ½ cup of peppers. As we can see, my ½ cup of peppers right here. My handful of cilantro. I also have 1/4 of jalapeno pepper. If you would like to add more jalapeno, maybe you're a spicy person, you can definitely feel free to add more. I also have my ½ cup of red onion. I really love red onion, but if you're a yellow onion person, you can use that as well. I have some taco seasoning. This is really going. Sorry, did you have a question? I want to make sure I'm answering.
I think she just was unmuted for a minute.
Okay, no problem. If you have a question, feel free to stop me and ask your question. I'm going to be using some taco seasoning, the mild flavor. So this is really going to help bring this salad to life. I also have some veganese, which is vegan mayo. It is really, really delicious. It tastes exactly like regular mayo, but it's vegan.
So it has no eggs in it. Just let people know how it's different. It has no eggs or no dairy.
Yes, it has no eggs. It has no dairy. This in particular, it doesn't really have a lot of ingredients, as you can see on the back of this packaging. It just has canola oil, water, brown rice syrup. It has some pea protein in it, some sea salt, but it doesn't have any dairy or any animal products, and it doesn't have any eggs. So if you're someone that's trying to cut back on your dairy, or you're trying to cut down on your animal-related products, this is a great substitution that tastes just like the real thing. Also going to be using some lime juice. This is 100% lime juice. There's nothing added to it. And I'm also going to be using some pink Himalayan sea salt. So to make this salad, it's really simple, really quick. You're just going to take all of these ingredients and put it in. As you can see, please make sure that you're pinning this camera so you can see everything up close.
So Imani, can I ask a quick question? Can you tell us a little bit about where you purchase the ingredients, like the spicing that you're using, and maybe the lime juice for people who may not know where to find that?
Yeah, of course. I get all of my ingredients from Whole Foods because that is my closest supermarket. But I also went to Fairway as well because I wasn't in the area of a Fairway. So I got some of my ingredients from Fairway this week and some of my ingredients from Whole Foods. But all of these ingredients that I'm cooking with today can literally be found in any supermarket. Diana, I see that you have a question.
The mayo, you got it from Whole Foods as well?
Mainly Whole Foods, and I also went to Fairway, but you can literally get all of this stuff from other supermarkets.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. I'm gonna add my onion in. And when it comes to the taco seasoning and the vegan mayo, it's to taste, but I am going to add that in last. What I'm gonna do now is stir all the veggies together. It smells so good. I love the smell of fresh cilantro. It gets me every single time. It's so delicious. All right, now that all my veggies are stirred together, now what I'm going to do is add in my mayo. Just a dollop of mayo. If you would like to add more for your taste buds, that's okay too. I'm gonna add in 2 splashes of lime juice because I love lime. So 1 splash and then 2 splash. And now I'm gonna add in my seasonings. So I'm adding in my taco seasoning. Once again, this is to taste. So I'm gonna open this packet up. There we go. I'm gonna put this to the side, and I'm also gonna add in a little salt, not too much because my taco seasoning has a small amount of salt in it already, so I don't wanna overdo it, but a little splash of salt. And now I'm just going to mix everything together. You can also use vegan cheese if you would like. So you can use vegan mayo or vegan cheese. I've done it with vegan feta cheese before, and it has been really, 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 really yummy. So I'm mixing everything together now. Make sure you get everything from the sides because you do not want to leave anything out. You want to make sure this recipe has everything in it.
So Imani, did you cook the corn before you put it in the bowl, or you just put it in raw?
Great question. So I did cook the corn before I put it in the bowl. It is important for you to cook your frozen vegetables. A lot of times, some people may say you can just take it out the package, and sorry about that. Let me just fix this camera. A lot of times people may say that you can just take it out the package and eat it, but it's actually not best because whenever you are buying a frozen product, it goes through a process. So you need to make sure that you're heating it up to kill any germs and any bacteria that may be found in that frozen product. So that's a really good point, Gail. Thank you for bringing that up. Please make sure that you cook your frozen vegetables. Do not eat your frozen vegetables raw.
So you're sauteing it with some oil or just with water for a minute or two? How do you heat that up?
Great question. So I just cook my corn for about 5 to 7 minutes, and I put some water in the pot with the corn and wait until it's at a boil, and then I drain it. So I cook it personally with water because I'm definitely a fan of water sauteing. It has a lot of different health benefits. And for this recipe, we don't really need the corn to have any oil. We're adding the vegan mayo, which has oil in it already. So it's just best to cook your corn in water.
Excellent. So there are two questions. One is, can you use canned corn for this recipe?
Mm-hmm. You can use canned corn if you would like, but please make sure that that's cooked as well. I would never want you to just take it out the can and put it in a bowl and make the salad. Make sure your canned vegetables are cooked as well.
Okay, and you would cook it the same way, a little water in the pan, bring it to a boil, and then cook it for a few minutes.
And something that may be helpful too with your corn, make sure that you're draining whatever liquid is in that canned corn, because a lot of the times it has a lot of sodium and preservatives. So make sure you're draining that and washing the corn off a little bit, and then you put it in your pot with your water to cook it.
Yeah, and while we're talking about that, I think it's worth mentioning that using frozen corn or even fresh corn is going to be more nutritious than using canned corn. So you can use canned corn, but I think if you have a choice or you have the option in the store of which to buy, buying frozen corn is going to have more nutrition for you. And the other question that came in is, can you add tofu? Or I don't know if they're asking if you can use tofu instead of corn or if you can add tofu to this recipe.
Okay, definitely. You can add tofu if you would like. I've never added tofu before, but now that you mentioned that, it sounds really delicious and yummy. So yes, you can add tofu to the recipe if you would like.
She's giving you a thumbs up, so I think that answered her question.
Okay,
Awesome.
I have a question as well. Can we, instead of using the corn, the frozen corn or canned corn, can we do this recipe, like make the dressing on the side and boil the fresh corn on the cob and just toss it over the fresh corn? Would that be, so we can do it like that too, as well?
Yes, you can do it like that as well. Definitely. Okay. This recipe, I always say, make it flexible, make it your own. So I definitely like all the ideas that I'm hearing. I want to just show you the final product before we move on to the smoothie. So if you look in the picture with the food, this is the final product that I have.
Beautiful.
So this salad right here.
So beautiful.
Thank you. And it's really tasty. It's super tasty. I wish that you can try it. It's really, really good. And you don't have to just eat this by itself, but if you want to, it can. It's a great side dish for taco night. It's a great side dish for barbecues and summer events. But if you want to get creative, you can put it on top of tacos. You can add it into a burrito. You can even make a salad out of it, toss some greens, toss some tofu in there, toss some brown rice in there, and you have a really delicious, filling, hearty meal.
Love it.
This is the first recipe that we're gonna make. I'm just going to check again to see if anyone has any questions. You can put it in the chat or you can unmute.
Well, I just want to say one thing, which is, was it Ide who asked about fresh corn, or Diana maybe? Of course, that's totally great. And fresh is always, so nutritious and delicious. You can use a frozen package of corn and you can use canned corn, as Imani said, but fresh corn is also really easy to use. And if you just boil it for 2 minutes or so and then cut the corn off, you'll end up also with corn that you can put in a bowl and make a beautiful salad like she just demonstrated. So any of those options are great. I think nutritionally, fresh corn and the frozen corn are probably going to be way better than the canned corn. Just in general, it's worth people knowing that, right?
Yes.
The canned is usually on the lowest in terms of nutrition, lowest level, whereas fresh is great and frozen is great because a lot of frozen food, they freeze right away when they harvest it. So a lot of the nutrition is locked in right away from when they harvest it, and it's perfectly nutritious to buy frozen.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Fresh is always best. But the thing about frozen, when you buy frozen fruits and vegetables, they're taken at the height of ripeness. So that means that when they're the freshest that they can ever be within their plant life cycle, that's when they're literally taking it and they're going through the freezing process. So that's why Gail is saying that's the best option after after fresh. So now we're gonna move on to smoothies. All right, who likes smoothies? Anyone like smoothies? I know we heard a couple of smoothie lovers in the room. So that is awesome. Great. I see a thumbs up from Stella, and I saw a lot of delicious smoothie recipes. Wonderful. Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. I'm seeing some hearts. Great. So let's talk about some of the ingredients that we are going to be using for this smoothie. So let me just move this over so you can see my ingredients for the next recipe in the picture frame. All right. So we are making a cacao berry smoothie, and we're going to be using a couple of ingredients for this smoothie. So let's talk first about the plant-based milk. So let's see who we have in the room. What kind of plant-based milk do you like to consume? Do you like almond milk? Do you like coconut milk? You can unmute or you can put it in the chat. What kind of plant-based milk do you like to consume?
I would say almond is the best.
Nice. I like almond as well. Okay, I see another almond. Wonderful. Awesome. So I'm actually a big fan of almond milk, but there was no almond milk in the store. It literally sold out. So I was really sad about that. So today I'm actually using hazelnut milk.
Oh.
And this milk is made from 2 ingredients. I got this brand from Whole Foods. It is a little bit pricey. So I do recommend getting the other brands, but if you're someone that wants to just invest in a milk that just has 2 ingredients, then feel free to get this one. But the other milks in the store are fine as well.
Imani, can I ask you why somebody might want to drink plant-based milk as opposed to dairy milk? Why would somebody want to be, dairy-free? What are some of the reasons that you said you've been dairy-free for about 3.5 years?
Yeah, 4 years now. Yeah.
4 years. I got to update my bio.
Yeah, no problem. So here are a couple of reasons why someone may be dairy free. When it comes to dairy, a lot of health-related issues are linked to dairy consumptions. When we think about certain populations, I'll use like Asian populations and African-American populations, for example, a lot of them have an intolerance to digesting dairy. So dairy is not going to give us optimal health, as I mentioned before, because it can cause a lot of these nutrition related problems because our body is digesting something that is not really natural to us. We're not a baby cow, right? We're humans. So if we digest a milk from a cow, our body's not really used to that. Of course, it's different when we're babies and we're having breast milk because that's literally a human drinking a human's milk. But when it comes to dairy, there's a lot of bacteria in dairy. There's a lot of, I hate to get gruesome, but there's a lot of bacteria and a lot of other substances that are in dairy. And they even go through a bleaching process. So the color of milk is actually not the color of milk when it first gets milk from the cow. So those are a couple of reasons why dairy is not really the best for us and why you should switch to a plant-based milk. And I know a lot of people who are on a carnivore diet, but they still consume a plant-based milk.
Yeah, beautiful, really beautiful. Thank you for that. And I would just add that, a lot of the dairy industry now, the cows are given antibiotics, and a lot of those antibiotics just end up right in the milk. So if we're drinking milk from cows that have been cooped up and given antibiotics so that they don't get all the other cows sick, then that's going right into our bodies. And a lot of people are not interested in that. And the other thing that, of course, is worth mentioning is that cows contribute a lot to global warming, right? There's a lot of discussion around how eating any kind of animal products is really contributing to some of the climate change that we're seeing. But I really loved your description, and I hope you keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We're also going to be talking about another ingredient. I'm going to go through all the ingredients first, then I'm going to make the recipe. We are going to be using some berries. Let me just pick up my cocoa powder. We're going to be using some berries. So berries are absolutely amazing. I'm using frozen berries. I don't have any fresh ones, so I'm using frozen. So not the best, which would be fresh, but I'm using frozen, which is okay as well. So berries are really great because they're low in calorie, but they're high in fiber. So I'm gonna keep saying fiber full, fiber full. Fiber keeps you full. And it's also high in vitamin C, high in antioxidants, which helps you fight off those diseases. And it has a lot of benefits for your heart health. So you wanna make sure that you're consuming a lot of berries this summer season. And there's so many ways that you can eat berries. You can put berries in a dessert. You can put berries in a salad. You can put berries in a smoothie. There's so many ways that you can eat your berries. So now we're gonna talk about hemp seeds. Has anyone ever heard of hemp seeds? Does anyone consume hemp seeds? You can unmute or put it in the chat. Anyone? All right, so I see no. All right, Diane said that she has. Diane, can you share with us, what do you do with hemp seeds?
I never tried it before, but I know I used to work in a high-end grocery store and as a cheese specialist, and I know they used to have that in the green section, but I've never tried it. But I know you can put it in your if you're making like porridge, or if you're making like you said, the smoothie, or you can sprinkle it on your yogurt or your ice cream. I think you can also do that with it.
Yes, definitely. Excellent, Diane. So Diana, yes. So hemp seeds are amazing. They're actually a source of protein. So 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds will give you 10 grams of protein. And it's so easy to get this into your diet. As Diana said, sorry. I had a student named Diane today. So I'm like, Diane.
Okay.
So you can put it on top of your yogurt. You can put it in smoothies. You can put it in different desserts. You can bake with it. So this is a really great source of protein. It also has a high level of antioxidants. Once again, it fights off those germs, vitamins, minerals, and it has fatty acids in here. So this is a great ingredient for our smoothie.
So you said three tablespoons of that is 10 grams of protein?
Yes.
But you have to you're not only allowed per serving 3 tablespoons, or you can go over to exceed the amount.
Good question. So you don't have to just only have 1 serving, but I probably wouldn't go over 2. Because hemp seeds, to be honest with you, hemp seeds do carry a little bit of a taste. Like if you're using it just by itself, if you're mixing it in with something, that's fine. But if you add probably over 3 tablespoons, you're probably gonna taste that hemp seed taste a lot more than you would if you just stuck with the 3 tablespoons. So I would recommend probably just sticking with 3 tablespoons. And if you want more protein, you can add peanut butter or you can add nuts to.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So there was a question about using soy milk as one of the alternative milks. What do you think about that option?
So you can use soy milk if you would like. Here's a really interesting fact about soy. So soy actually gets a bad rep because everyone likes to say that soy increases your estrogen levels and it's bad and it's this and it's that, but it's actually not. The type of estrogen that's found in soy doesn't really affect your estrogen levels in your body unless you have a soy allergy or you have a soy intolerance. It is completely fine to use soy milk. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next ingredient. Who likes cocoa powder? Anyone likes cocoa powder? I know a lot of people put it in hot chocolate. No one likes cocoa powder? You can put it in the chat if you're more comfortable. You've never tried it, okay? No problem. So I'm gonna teach you two different terms. There's cacao and there's cocoa. Cacao and cocoa. They're two different things, but they look alike and they come from similar items. Yes. So here's the difference between the two. Cacao is processed at a lower temperature than cocoa powder, and cocoa powder is usually, cacao powder, is made from fermented beans that have not been roasted. On the other hand, cocoa powder is usually packaged, and it tends to have added sugar, and sometimes it has added dairy. So think about hot chocolate. That's definitely cocoa powder. So when you want to think about health, cacao powder is actually healthier for you than cocoa powder. So that is why we're using cacao powder in our smoothie instead of cocoa powder. Does anybody have any questions about that? Or you want to know a little bit more?
I would say in general, just to add to what you've said, the more you can buy things that haven't been processed, the better. So just what you said, cocoa powder may taste delicious, but since it's been processed and sugar's been added, it's better to use the cacao for smoothies. You'll taste that chocolate sweetness without having all the sugar, right?
Exactly. And since we're using berries anyway, you're not really going to notice that it's unsweetened because the berries are going to give that cacao powder sweetness. So you're not really going to know the difference because it's a similar flavor. It just doesn't have all that stuff added into it. So let's get started with our smoothie. I am going to add in my, sorry about that. Let me make sure my camera is working here. All right, and we're back. So I'm going to add my milk into the blender. Sorry about that. My camera doesn't like noises, apparently. So I'm also gonna add in my cacao powder. Gonna add in my berries. I'm using strawberries and blueberries for this recipe. 1 cup of each.
So could you just show us the package of cacao powder that you used?
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry. I actually used the last of it, so I threw it away.
Oh, you threw it away already. Okay.
Yes, but if anybody's interested in how it looks, I can tell you the brand. It's called, I think, Native, I believe. I can send it to you or anyone else that is interested in it. And you can get this in any grocery store. It doesn't have to come from a special grocery store. Or if you're someone that likes to order something online, you can get it online as well. All right, so now I'm gonna add in my 3 tablespoons of cacao powder. Of hemp seeds. So I'm gonna get my 2. And we're adding 1, 2, and 3. There we go. I'm gonna put this to the side. And I'm gonna put my blender top on. If anyone wants to know what kind of blender I'm using a NutriBullet. I really love NutriBullets, but any blender is completely fine. All blenders work the same, but I just like this because I do a lot of things in my blender. I make soup in my blender. I make sauces in my blender, all of that stuff.
Ooh, you're giving us ideas for future classes.
Yes, you can do a lot with a NutriBullet for sure. So I am going to just pause my myself briefly because I do not want to murder you with the sound of my blender. And then as soon as it's done blending, I'm gonna put myself off of mute.
So if anybody does make this smoothie or the corn, please remember to send it to us because we'll post it on our social media, and people love to see what you've made and will give you credit. So I put my email in the chat box so you can send me a picture. I would be very grateful.
Oh, that's another question I meant to ask. Is anyone making this with me, or are you going to make these recipes after the class? Are you guys making, let's see, after? Wonderful. No problem. So here's our cacao berry smoothie. As you can see, it has this gorgeous purple color. It's going to taste really great, like a mixture of chocolate and berries. So just think a healthier version of chocolate or berries dipped in chocolate. So I'm gonna just take my cup here. I'm gonna pour in my smoothie. And here we have it.
Beautiful.
A chocolate, or should I say cacao, berry smoothie.
Beautiful.
I just love the color of this. It's a really great color, and it's a really great recipe. I actually made it for, I used to do nutrition classes at a rehabilitation center, and I made it for everyone, and everyone kept coming back for seconds. So
Yeah.
they can vouch for this recipe. They really enjoyed it, and it's really easy and simple to make. As you can see, we made 2 of these recipes in 1 hour, in less than 1 hour.
Much less than 1 hour. So that's amazing. And I love what you demonstrated, that you can hide some of the nutritious ingredients in with the delicious ingredients, right? You have the berries that are sort of covering the flavor of the hemp, but it's all mixed together. You don't really even notice that it's, you know, has any kind of bad taste, or you hide it, sort of like hiding vegetables in a stew, right?
Yes. And you can even add peanut butter to this. You can add peanut butter to this, or you can add almond butter to this if you just want some more flavor, or if you want some more protein, you can definitely add those things in as well. So I want to see if anyone has any questions. These questions can be about nutrition. They can be about summer recipes. You can ask me anything. You can just unmute, or you can put it in the chat.
Anybody? Going once, going twice? Okay. That looked amazing, and we're all ready to come over to your house for dinner. Thank you so much for that demonstration. We know that eating fruits and vegetables is the best medicine of all, and that consuming healthy, real food instead of processed food strengthens our bodies, our immune systems, and our moods. Diet is critical to preventing and even reversing many chronic diseases, including heart disease and diabetes. So let's learn how to make better food choices together. Let's do this for yourself, for your family, and for the planet. It's not out of reach, as we saw with Imani tonight, and we can do it together in community. So make some substitutions, increase your lifespan. Thank you again, Imani, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We are continuing this series with 2 more amazing chefs. I would love you to just eat real food, stay healthy, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you again, Imani, and I hope you guys will join us again very soon. Thanks. Have a great night.
No problem.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks for coming. I'll see you next week at 6:30, same time next Thursday.
Thank you.
No problem.